Hey there. So today I'm speaking with a former client and student of mine, Stephanie Saunders. And I've been following her on Instagram ever since she moved to Arizona, however many years ago that was. And just watching your process and your life unfold, I just thought it'd be cool to hear for people to hear your story of where you came from and where you're at now. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. I'm so excited to be here. And just like you said, I am a former client and student of yours. You were my first spiritual mentor in New Jersey. I met you at a spa that I was working at.
Right.
And we just like clicked right away. We started talking about spiritual stuff and Reiki. And that was when I was first like getting into all that. So I
Yeah, and
just
like I'm
remember,
thinking that was like 2016.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
2016, and I remember I booked you for a massage, and we just started talking, and now here we are, like
I know. I
7 years
remember
later.
at your work, I remember like just saying something about my work to you, and like you really lit up and
Oh yeah.
eager, you know. So then you became a client, and then when did you move to Arizona?
I moved to Arizona in September of 2017, so I was
Oh, only a
still,
year later.
yeah, a year later. Yep, and it was right after. Honestly, it was right after you certified me, like in Reiki level 1, because that's when I had this like epiphany, and you know, I just when I started to do Reiki and you were teaching me how to like connect with my higher self, and you introduced me to crystals and energy healing and all this awesome stuff. Like that's what really, I guess it was maybe there all along. Like my intuition always told me that I was meant to do something, bigger, or I had this mission in or purpose in life, but I didn't really know what it was. So
Hmm.
in 2017, I was still working at the spa, and I just kept seeing like Arizona signs, like Arizona license plates. I remember I was like filling up an essential oil diffuser like at the spa, and it said like made in Phoenix. Like, I mean, come on, like made in Phoenix, like made. It was just every single corner I turned, there was some sign that was telling me that I needed to move to Arizona. And I didn't even really know the why. It was just my intuition was telling me that. So when people ask me like, well, why did you move to Arizona? Did you move there for work? People always ask me that.
Yeah.
And really, like, it was truly just my intuition. And I didn't know how it was going to unfold.
Mhm.
But I just bought a one-way ticket and moved out there in 2017 and just never looked back. I had help. I lived with a high school friend who actually who lives out here. He really helped me like get grounded out here, and I got a job before I moved out here, just so I wasn't, diving in head first. I wanted to kind of have like some stability.
Mhm.
But then everything after that point on was just really, everything just kind of fell into place, and um, I was I was continuing my Reiki practice, and I got certified in Reiki level 2 out here, and did some, took on some clients and things like that. But really, it was just to, I just trusted myself, and took a leap of faith.
You just knew enough.
It just,
Well,
yeah.
well, when I like whatever post you made a few weeks ago or something, where you talked about like how you ended up where you are. And what is your Instagram handle? I forget.
It's Jersey Girl Awakened.
Okay.
Yeah.
um, but like I don't think I knew the first part of your story. Like I only knew where I came in, you know? So I was like, oh,
Right.
and I remember that you went to school for like film study or something, but I didn't remember or I didn't know about like the physical stuff that happened to you as a result of not being in
Yeah.
alignment. So if you want to like
Yes.
go down that path.
Oh yeah. How much time do we have? So um, I graduated college in 2014. I studied communications, media studies, and I minored in psychology because I just always wanted a degree. I didn't really have a lot of direction at that point in my life. I didn't really know what my purpose was. I didn't really have a passion. I was always interested in like media, and always I like being creative and things like that. Um, but there was actually a professor that I had, Professor Gorley. He was actually the person like he opened up my mind to like spirituality because I had a media class with him, and it was the only class that resonated with me because he was so spiritual. And this was before my awakening, but there was like that feeling that this was like, wow, this is really interesting to me, and this resonates with me. And he called us his little snowflakes, right? Not in a creepy way or anything, but because we're all unique.
Right.
And he would always talk about, he didn't believe in grades, and other people maybe didn't, right, like his work didn't really resonate with them as much, or like his approach. But he really like resonated with me. So I was like, okay, well, that's really the only class that I'm interested in. So I graduated in 2014. I took a part-time job working at a restaurant. I was in an unhappy relationship. It was a long-term relationship, but I just wasn't happy, and I just was starting to feel this like this nudge, and I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to be uncomfortable. I wanted to like stay in my comfort zone. But I think my soul knew that there were a lot of changes that needed to be made. And I needed to get really uncomfortable in order to grow and
Right.
Go on my journey that I'm on now. But so I started to get really sick one day, like physically, like it was after a yoga class actually. And I actually also had a job interview like the same day or something like that for this, this social media marketing job. And I wanted to take it. And I just had a feeling that I was maybe going to get the job, and things were about to change drastically, whether I liked it or not. So my stomach started to really hurt, but it wasn't like the type of stomach ache where you have food poisoning, or you're sick, like you have an illness or something. It was like a bottomless pit. It would not go away, and I couldn't keep food down. I couldn't keep liquid down. Like it was really bad. And I knew deep down why my stomach was hurting, because it was my gut. It was like this, my intuition trying to tell me like, you need to make some serious changes in your life. You're going to have to make really hard decisions.
Right.
But I got you. It was like that voice that was like, I got you. Don't question this, but you're going to have to make a really hard decision. And it was ending the relationship. It was, hurting somebody. It was quitting my job and taking another one that was more in alignment with who I was at that time and what I was trying to do. And my parent, my family was really worried about me. They were like, why is she so sick? Like, what, what's going on? And then it almost felt like, so after I ended that relationship and I quit that job, it was almost like my body was like, my skin was shedding. Like I felt my skin like shedding. Like it was really weird. Like it was kind of like I was sleeping and it was like a dream, but it wasn't a dream.
That all the time with my clients, where I feel like they're
Yeah.
So you're sensitive to energy. So you actually were feeling like the energetic shift.
Exactly. It was the energetic shift of like, holy shit, like I am changing right now, and things are getting weird, and I was just all over the place. My emotions were up and down, and I was crying randomly. I was shaking like profusely. Like I had no idea, like it was my ego or something. My like what you said, the energetic layers that I once had were just shedding.
And that shaking is like a higher vibration kind of taking on, and sometimes it can do that to us where we get like memory. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I felt totally frazzled, and my poor parents, like they were just like, what can we do for you? Like what's going on? I didn't
have like 22 or something at the time.
Yeah, I just turned 23 at the time. So I was confused as all hell. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with me. I went to the doctor, like I got blood work, like I thought that there was something wrong with me.
Right.
Because I didn't have an answer. I couldn't put a name to what was going on at that time.
Other than spiritual crisis.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. And then eventually, like as I went along, I was kind of just going with the flow. I took the job. I was single, it was like a fresh start. I started to I reached out to my old professor, and he started sending me articles about the ascension process.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I was like, well, that's what I needed to hear. Like,
Yeah.
this is a real thing that's going on. And I don't know if you might be able to explain like the ascension better, like the ascension process
I don't know.
better than me.
I can
But
explain it better, but yeah, it's just like that shift in a rise in vibration. So then there
right,
can happen physically to us on top
exactly. It's a
of all,
shift in
yeah, everything else changes.
humanity. Yeah.
Headaches and ears ringing and things like that.
Yes.
Elizabeth Peru has a good article on the, I forget what the title of the article is, but it's like Elizabeth Peru and Ascension. You'll find it, you know.
I'm going to write that down right now.
Yeah, she does a good job breaking it down.
Yeah, Elizabeth Fruit. Okay, cool.
There's so many more symptoms than I can remember, but like
Oh yeah,
the big ones, like headaches and like the
yeah,
shaky feeling that you had, and
yeah,
all of those physical symptoms, and then of course like the world around you, and the synchronicities coming at you like wildfire. You're like, oh
yeah.
my God, another 11/11.
I know, it was so great. Like the numbers were like, my ears were ringing a lot. I was like mood swings, random crying, like body aches, things like that.
Yeah.
And when he started when my old professor started sending me this literature and like these articles, things just started to make sense about the shift, right? Like what was happening to me was a good thing, even though it didn't feel that way at the time.
Yeah.
It was very scary.
Yeah.
But it was necessary so that I could evolve
Right.
and step into my higher power. And so yeah, a lot of crazy physical symptoms, emotional symptoms. And then I just started randomly like, and I kind of just started like researching Reiki, and that was next. Like I did not know what Reiki was. I had no idea what energy
Pops in
healing
your head.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like this random like what's the word, download or something like
Yeah.
that I was getting, like Reiki. What's Reiki? And so I started, and then I ended up getting, there's a lot that happened in between like my first job out of college, and then I ended up working for, that job was no longer in alignment with me anymore. My energy kind of wanted to do something else. So I went to school, like I said, for media studies. So I ended up getting a job at um, the Maury Povich show, which is a conflict, yeah, which is a conflict TV show. It was, that was a whole other like experience for me, but I did want to pursue, a career in TV at that time, because I thought, well, I have my degree in this, I should give it a try. I was a production assistant for the show. And that was tough. That there was a lot of negative energy around me. I think I needed that job because it really like thickened my skin, and it taught me so much more about myself than I can even imagine. Like I I just knew that it wasn't like, that wasn't my path. Like I didn't want to stay in that career, but I'm really glad that I took the job, and I experienced that. But I was actually I was teaching the guests, and I was teaching my coworkers and producers about energy healing. So that was like my thing. Like people would come to me, the producers would come to me, and my coworkers and the production assistants and the guests, and they would be like, help me, teach me about like meditation. And I'm like, see, this is still what I like. I can't escape this like passion.
Yeah.
Calling. Like it's like just no matter where I was, I wanted to teach people about that. And so I ended up quitting. Like at the end of the season, I finished it up, and I had to like cleanse my aura every night, and just again, physical symptoms of stress. And I'm glad that I went through that, and was able to at least make friends that I still talk to. And but yeah, and then that's when after I quit that job, I took the job at the spa. And then that's when I I zenned out a little bit. I met you.
Yeah.
And that's like when my spiritual mentorship / journey kind of took off, because I was like, okay, I need to I need to really follow this,
Right.
and do what my soul is telling me to do. So I got certified in Reiki, and
Yeah.
uh,
And
yeah,
followed the call to Arizona,
yeah,
and there you've had, I'm sure, lots of cool experiences too.
oh yeah.
I was curious, did you like, I don't know, because in the spectrum of like energy healing, there's like the witchy aspect, right? So like the witchy aspect for me, was later. It's only more recent that I'm like learning more about, and you're like, oh my God, it's so basic, so easy, it's so nice.
Yeah.
But did you do any kind of witchy things to call in your husband? I'm just curious.
Um, so witchy things, I maybe you would consider it
Like a
witchy, but
manifestation, like,
yes,
like a full moon or a new
yes.
moon or whatever.
I did a lot of I did a lot of like full moon rituals. I did a lot of breath work. So
Hmm.
I went to a ton of breath work classes and a ton of journaling, a ton of emotional healing, and releasing old like wounds,
Hmm.
traumas from past relationships. Because I was having a really difficult time attracting a healthy relationship, and
Right,
because
right. And you're
I
like, okay,
felt,
this is a message back at me, kind of
yes,
thing.
that
Yeah.
I really have to be, because I met my husband after I stopped looking for a relationship, and
Right.
that's exactly what ended up happening. Was it was the beginning of the pandemic, um, and I was in therapy. I had more healing of for myself that I needed to do, and I said, you know
Hmm.
what, I'm happy either way. I'm happy alone. I'm happy. I need to learn how to be happy alone, and not
Hmm.
seek out a relationship, because I know that I will meet somebody that
Hmm.
is in alignment with me, who is my soulmate,
Right.
who I see a future with, and when I meet them, I will know. And
Hmm.
that was my soul telling me, like, just, and it was so weird, Karen, because I remember, like, I was walking around when I used to live in Tempe, Arizona, and my office was there. I was walking around one day, and there were a lot of homeless people, just kind of like walking around and hanging out. And I remember I ran into one of them, and I gave them some money, and I was like, I'm just gonna talk to somebody today. I'm gonna see if I can maybe help someone out today. And this person, this homeless person, was like, I felt like they were an angel. Like, I felt like they were a guide,
Hmm.
because the first thing they said to me was, for some reason, I just feel like I have to tell you this, but just wait. Like, just, you deserve something really special, and you deserve someone really special. So just wait. This homeless person said that to
Yeah,
me, and I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, that is so bizarre, because that's like the message that I needed
Right.
um at the time. And so the pandemic happened, and I was like, oh, this is great. Like, now I'm just gonna be quarantined by myself
Yeah.
in my apartment alone. My
Yeah.
my roommate was living, with his parents at the time, and um, so I started working from home, and I just kind of accepted the fact that I was just going to be alone, like, for as long as,
Yeah.
whatever. But so my one of my best friends out here, she texted me one night, and this is when the like the self isolate, or what is it, the social distancing,
Right,
that
right,
was
right.
that was like lifted. So
Mhm.
so you were allowed to hang out with, a few people, a small group.
Yeah.
So she invited me to her house, and she was dating my now husband's brother at the time.
Hmm.
And my husband, Alex, was there. He was visiting from Michigan.
Hmm.
And I had met him before. I had met him a month before, but I was so closed off. I was still working through things, that I just didn't even give him the time of day. I was cold. We met at a concert. And so he came back, and we just started talking. We had such a fun night together. Um, but I was scared. He didn't live here. He didn't live out here.
Hmm.
And I was like thinking to myself, well, this guy's going to go back to Michigan. I'm never going to see him again. And, I'm going to get hurt. I was so scared of like getting hurt.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off. And then he ended up staying for a little bit. We went camping as a group.
Mhm.
I pitched well, he helped me pitch my own tent that I didn't sleep in the entire time. I wanted to sleep with him in his tent. And I just I was so like drawn to his energy. He's
Yeah.
such a calming, grounding
Yeah.
energy.
Mhm.
And I was just like, this is weird. Like I'm feeling something that I can't really like describe right now. And I remember on that camping trip, we just sat in a hammock together and he said, I think I'm going to move out here. And I was like, really? That's interesting. Like trying to play it cool. Like, that's interesting. Like, is he really going to move out here? And I was so excited, but I didn't know how to, like, I was just trying to play it cool. So, he went back to Michigan. He drove back to Michigan and, I actually friend zoned him. He tells the story differently, but I ended up friend zoning him because I was scared. And
Mhm.
he told me he was interested in me, and I was like, "Oh, I just want to be friends." And he was like, "I don't believe you." And I'm like, "Okay, you're right. Like, I don't want to just be friends. I think I'm in love with you." and and he was like, "Yeah, I think this might be it." And he went back to Michigan, and we talked long distance for like 3 months.
Mhm.
You know, video chatting and just talking for hours and hours. And then he packed up all of his belongings, moved out here, and the rest is history.
Wow.
We were engaged Christmas Eve of 2021. Yep.
Mhm.
And got married May 5th of this year.
Yeah, it
So
was so cool to watch because like the first picture you posted of him, I was like, oh my God, she found her match. Like it was just so obvious. Like you guys
yeah,
looked like a partnership, like instantly. It was so
yeah.
cool. So I was like,
He's the best. Like he literally is the best. And he's helping me heal so many
Mhm.
parts of me. I'm gonna get emotional, but um
Yeah.
but I feel like the hardest relationship is the healthy one, like
Mhm.
after you have been through like so
Right.
many shitty relationships. And um I didn't know how to love myself. And so that's why I stayed single for as long as I could, because I knew that I was going to meet that right person for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Not a perfect person, but the perfect person for me, because I'm not perfect, nobody's perfect, but we're
Exactly.
working together and
Yeah.
we grow every day together. And we're trying to start a family, and it's just we have so much to look forward to. And
That's so
he
exciting.
really supports my mission too in life. He's a spiritual person as well. He might not do Reiki or meditate or have crystals next to his on his side of the bed, but he is very supportive of what I'm interested in and what I'm passionate about. And
That's
that's important to me. Yeah.
it's funny that he's from Michigan because he sports the cowboy hat like a natural.
His brother calls him the cowboy with no cows, because he's not like, he just has that aesthetic. Like he loves that look.
Yeah.
Um, and he's my cowboy. Yeah. He's a Midwestern guy who, just knows how to fix basic things. And,
That's
uh,
helpful.
is in a big social media guy, and I love that.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, I am who I am, and he's so authentic, and he's helped me tremendously with learning how to like speak my truth um and just be like who I am,
That's
because
really
he's
cool.
unapologetically who he is. So
I know, like I said, it's neat. It was neat to like watch your evolution because I remember, like how you felt in the beginning, and then to see your confidence and like that,
yeah.
like shining love, like coming through you. Like it's really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
You
love heals. Love can really heal. And it's, if I didn't find like that self-love that I still have to work on every day, it's not
Mhm.
like you get into a relationship, you get married, and you're healed and
Right.
everything's perfect. It's like it's an ongoing process.
Mhm.
But love really does heal. And when you let somebody in to your
Mhm.
life, and you show them like who you really are, and they love you for who you are, then those are the people that you want to have in your corner.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's just been like a really beautiful journey. And I feel really great about my life. And if I didn't make those scary, hard decisions back
Mhm.
back then,
Yeah.
I didn't move out here,
Right.
uh, I wouldn't be so happy and so fulfilled. Life ebbs and flows. Um, but I feel like more content than ever. So
Yeah.
my point is that doing scary things and getting out of your comfort zone brings the most growth and fulfillment.
Yeah, there's no way around it. It's like really necessary.
Oh. Or else your stomach will start to really hurt and
Yeah,
you'll start
yeah.
to crumble and your intuition will just like scream at you, um,
Hmm.
because you can't ignore it.
Yeah.
It's gonna find you like,
Once you, I guess, have the tools to know that's what's happening, because I'm sure there's plenty of
right.
people that like just continue to live,
Yeah,
turned off and unaware, so.
yeah. And that's like my whole purpose, at least for like when I what I post on my Instagram and things like
Mhm,
that. I kind of turned my personal Instagram into like more of a self-help, like spiritual
mhm,
page, so that I can help people like develop those tools, and I can share like the self-healing tools and spiritual tools that helped me,
right.
and continue to help me on this crazy journey of life, because it's never ending. Like, and I'm sure there are people that are waking up, or they are experiencing spiritual awakenings, like with your, the clients that you have, like they need tools, like they need help navigating this process, because it's very scary and it can
Oh,
get very isolating.
so you work, do you work out of your home, or do you work out of a place, like with Reiki clients one-on-one, or do you do things remotely? Like, what's your work look like with
So
energy healing?
so actually, it's interesting you bring this up, because when I first moved to Arizona, I was taking clients.
Mhm,
I did one-on-one sessions in person. So I would either travel to somebody's home, or I just had like a table, a massage table, or they
yeah.
would come to my apartment. Um, and I would give them Reiki, and I would do some spiritual mentoring with them.
Mhm,
And I did work with a ton of people like out here, and just across like the country, really. Like, because even in New Jersey, I had a lot of people that I worked with, and I did Reiki for. But when the pandemic happened, I started doing more distance healing. So I did take on some clients, and I did some distance healing.
mhm,
But I felt like I needed to protect my energy a little bit. I had to like heal some. I had some more healing to do myself.
right.
So right now, I'm actually not practicing on other people. I'm doing a lot of self Reiki, and
Okay.
I'm putting out uh, information, and sharing like how to give yourself Reiki, and things like that, and just sharing like the wisdom that I have, and like
Yeah,
the knowledge that I have
yeah.
uh, about energy healing. And I would like to start taking clients again eventually.
Mhm,
But right now, my intuition is telling me to kind of, lay low a little bit, and don't
mhm,
don't take on clients, like don't
right.
don't see clients physically, but put out information
That's
that would be helpful.
Yeah, that's the service too, totally.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I also kind of jumped in like I dove in head first out here with Reiki. I didn't have a legitimate business in the sense that I had an LLC,
Mhm,
but I was putting myself in like very vulnerable situations, and I felt like I didn't really have like the tools or the knowledge on how to like run a business like at
yeah,
and I was just kind of giving my energy away like for free. It kind of felt like that. I wasn't charging people really.
yeah, yeah.
um
It's like the
for
whole
my,
learning curve and boundaries,
yeah,
and that stuff.
boundaries, exactly. And that's still
Mhm,
something that I'm working on. So for right now, I love like creating content
mhm,
uh, around energy healing and Reiki. So I teach it at work. So I actually I've hosted a few, I've led a few presentations
mhm.
for my coworkers,
Nice.
and taught them about Reiki, and it was like Reiki 101, and kind of
Yeah,
taught them what it was.
that's cool.
Yeah, how to do it and on themselves. And but yeah, I eventually would like to become a Reiki master like yourself. I'm That's definitely on my to-do list. um, but yeah, just listening to my intuition right now, and focusing
Yeah,
on starting a family with my husband, and boundaries, like energetic, kind of energetic boundaries, and learning how to energetically protect myself better from, because I am very sensitive. You know
yeah,
that I'm
yeah,
very sensitive to other people's energies, and I
yeah.
need to just kind of like work on myself for right now.
Yeah, well, I know, and everyone's got like, your gifts are probably more strong in the clairsentience and that you take on so much physically. Because like
Yeah,
for me, that was like the weaker one for me. Like I
yeah,
don't feel like that as much, but I learned from my students who I would physically see them responding to energy and be like,
yeah,
just because it doesn't happen to me doesn't make it's not real, and it's not an
yeah,
important lesson to like share with others. I've
right.
gotten more sensitive as time has gone on. But my favorite thing to say to people with, with energy is like salt baths, salt baths, salt baths, like that's like
Yeah, I
the,
gotta take more of those.
yeah, I mean, you don't even have to take a whole bath. You could just do your feet, and like that'll
Yeah,
help get rid of everybody else's energy off of you
yeah,
for, before you go to bed at night. And like last night I had two clients, and as I was laying in bed, I was like, oh, that's right, I had two clients. And it's like I could feel like the energy stuck between my ankles and my feet. Like it's just like I just feel
yeah,
like the stickiness, this heaviness at my feet. And I
yeah,
need to go rinse my feet. Like I just need to. I can't go to sleep unless I do. So I'm
right.
just gonna get used to the habit of that. But like, but you might just be more sensitive where you need to really like have more than that. But like at the very
Yeah,
least, clear your energy at the end of the night. Like that'll help.
totally. I have my selenite, so I sometimes I'll take this and I'll just kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I'll put
Clear
it
your
around
field.
my
Yeah.
field, yeah.
And
And
just saying
oh,
like everything that's not mine be released, and calling all my energy back to myself, like at the end of the day too, is like another visual way of like wiping everyone's energy,
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
because that's
And
much.
it's yeah, exactly. And it's not like I really see, I work from home, so I don't see a ton of people every day. But even just when I talk to my
Yeah,
customers
you're
or
engaging with people
angry,
even on Zoom.
yeah, exactly. I can feel their, their
Yeah.
emotions, and I want to help, it's like so badly I want to help. And
Not my
and so
role, not my role.
yeah, not my, and so that's the thing. I just have to keep reminding myself it's not my responsibility. It's not, I have to heal myself first. And so whatever happens with Reiki and
Hmm.
if I am supposed to take on clients physically again, or
Right.
I'll figure that out because I love it, and I love sharing it with people. And so yeah, that's always going to be.
Accumulate tools and experience constantly, and like
Yeah,
it wasn't until I opened Moon Magic that I had to be more proactive about protecting my energy because I was in such a visible
right,
spot.
right. Yeah,
It just
yeah, that
became really apparent once I was in that. Like I'd come home and burn sage, and the sage would just burn and burn. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I think I'm fine. But it's
right,
had so much
right.
energy on me just from
Yeah,
being visible. So yeah, it's a learning curve, but
yeah.
imagine your children, when they come in, that'll be a whole nother cool story
I
of
know,
who's picking you guys as their parents, and like
right.
they're gonna arrive and what are they gonna teach you, and like, like but
I
once
know.
it's I'm sure you're gonna have like some crazy ass stories, and maybe you've already met your children in the ethers and they're coming.
I swear, I was just talking to my friend about she's my friend and sister-in-law now, and we were just talking about this, and she sent me uh this post about like how that your like children are coming, or your
Mhm.
spirit children are coming like to the physical earth
Yeah.
soon. And it was you see rainbows and you see like birds, and I'm seeing a lot of rainbows, like prisms, like rainbow
Yeah.
prisms, like in my home. Um and birds are like everywhere. They're coming and like landing in our pool, and there's just like a ton of them. And it said that your friends will start to have dreams that you're pregnant and things like that. So, and all my friends are like, I just had a dream that you were pregnant. So it's just exciting. It's an exciting journey to start thinking about that. And
Totally.
how are my children going to be, and what can I teach that? What am I going to teach them?
What are they
And
going to teach
how are they
you?
going to teach me? And how are they going to teach us? And it's just, yeah, it's so exciting. And you have two children, right?
Yeah,
Well, they're
yeah.
not children anymore, but
Yeah, I know. Grace just turned 19 and Andrew's 16. So it's neat, like hearing, giving them the platform to just be and like share whatever they know.
yeah,
It was awesome. And they both of them had like past life recalls and things like that weren't fed by me. I just kind of gave them the chance to
oh wow.
dive into it, and they did many times. So
So
yeah,
are they, do they do Reiki? Like, are they certified in Reiki? Do they do,
no, they're not. They both can channel energy and they're both sensitive to it, but they're
yeah,
really interested. So,
right. Yeah, they have to be interested, right?
yeah. But like when they were 8 and 10, when we moved into this house, and there was a spirit in the house that we all me and the two of them sensed. My husband was working at night, so he wasn't home for that, thankfully, because he probably would have said it's all bullshit. But like, so we all felt it. And then I was like one of the first times I ever like called on those tools. I was like calling on Archangel Michael, burning some sage, like please like
Oh,
leave us alone. And I did feel the energy leave because I was nervous about that stuff. Like now I'm not as scared of it. But
right.
but then when he showed up again, Grace went into Andrew's bedroom, and me and Andrew were kind of like hiding in my room, like looking over at Grace. And Grace is just sitting there on the bed with her eyes, like confidently sitting and like swirling her hand around, like she's. And later she told us, "Oh, I just opened a portal."
Oh my gosh.
We're like, "Oh,
Wow.
okay."
Like
Like,
so nonchalant.
yeah, it's gone now. I'm like, "All right." So it was
Oh my
crazy. So
gosh.
yeah, they're very, very master capable.
They can't help it. Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew had memories of Civil War, and Grace had memories of like Tibetan monk lifetime. So
Oh my gosh.
it's so cool. So yeah, when around the time of like 3, maybe even when they're younger, but like between 3 and 5, like if you're like in a car ride, or if you're, like if they're falling asleep, or like somewhere where they're in that like the higher vibration kind of in between state access,
Yeah.
you could just be like, so do you remember when you were bigger, and then see what they say. It's really
That's
cool.
so cool. I can't wait. And I know that it'll happen. Yeah, it'll happen, when the time is right for us. And
Right.
just so exciting. Our brother and sister-in-law just gave birth to our niece. I want to say, oh gosh, is she 6 months? 2 days after our wedding.
Hmm.
So our niece
Yeah.
is now here, and she's just so fun, and it's just getting me so excited to have, to give her cousins and
I know, I
and
know. I remember like
great.
picking up our cat and holding our cat and patting him like a baby. And I'm like, I think I need a baby. Like
Yeah.
I'm like handling the cat like it's a baby.
No,
Like, yeah,
I have
stop.
bad baby fever right now. Yeah, like I just want to we always offer to like babysit, like, and just want to be around. And my husband, he loves kids, and I just know he's going to be such a good father. And it's just, yeah, it's such an exciting journey. And
It is. It's fun. It's
uh,
just been fun watching from this side of Instagram. But thanks for talking.
of course,
Filling
yeah,
in the gaps.
of
So
course,
like
yeah.
to remind people again, what was the handle? I forget again.
It's
Oh, Awaken.
Jersey Girl Awakened. Yeah, and I
Okay.
chose the Jersey Girl name because even though I live in Arizona, you just can't take you can take the
Yeah.
girl out of New Jersey, but you can't take the Jersey out of the girl. And I feel like Jersey girls, such as yourself, you
Mhm.
can relate to this, but we're strong, we're resilient, we're kind, we're not always nice, but we have our moods, but
We could be impatient.
yeah, we're impatient, we're good-hearted people,
Yeah.
we're authentic. And I wanted to kind of, keep that part of me, because your heart can be in two places at one time, and my
Mhm.
heart happens to just be in New Jersey and Arizona.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. I love it out here, and but I can always go home
Yeah.
and spend time with my family, and go back to the place that shaped who I am today. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I chose, and then I chose Awakened, Jersey Girl Awakened, because my spiritual awakening, I want to share my story with people. So yeah, I'm just trying to post, as much helpful information as I can to help
Mhm.
people navigate the the awakening
I
process,
know.
and waking up to their true selves.
Thank you. And you do a nice job, like, aesthetically, and like, it's well done. So it's like pleasant to
You.
visit. Yeah, you're welcome.
I think that's probably from my social media experience when I did
All of the
work with
pieces
social
come into
media.
play.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. I'm not an expert in it, but I think that's really helped me. And
Mhm.
like you said, it's all the pieces. It's all the pieces that got put together. And
It's like it
And
all had to be the way it was so it can end up where it is. You know, it's always that
exactly.
perfect divine orchestration. So
Exactly. Yep. Divine timing. And now I'm talking to you 7 years later.
I can't believe it's been that long, and I can't believe I
It
only knew
has
you for a
been.
year before you moved away.
And
Like it's nuts.
and Karen, look at the pen that I happen
Oh,
to be.
my rebalance pen. I have one handy right now too. How about that?
Look at that. I'm like looking at my pen. I'm like, this is the pen that I use all the time.
That's
That
pretty
sometimes
great.
don't even realize it.
That's awesome. Thank you for spending some time. And
Of
I hope
course.
everyone enjoyed listening to your story because I enjoyed it too.
Thank you so much. This was so fun, and I really loved catching up with you. And let's not be strangers.
Yeah.
Let's continue talking about all this fun stuff.
Yes. Thank goodness for Instagram.
Yes, exactly.
Thanks so
Thanks
much.
so much for having me.
Sure.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye.